I would say that my E1 championship has been such a roller coaster ride for me.
I'd say it wasn't really good or bad. I mean, starting the season off, Sepang, I didn't really know what to expect.
We performed really well, always fighting at the front in every race.
We started off quite far behind the others, but we've gained a lot of experience and picked up the speed.
Got to focus on the positives and know what we did right.
Imola was so far my worst round. Race 1 after the game crashing and I wasn't able to race.
Even though I've achieved some podiums, but then again some of the other races, especially race 2, I've always had a struggle of keeping my car on track.
But also we can't just blank out the negatives, we got to learn from them and do it better the next time.
I'm not happy because I know that I can do better. Like for me, I know I'm a really good driver. I'm better than most of the guys on the grid, and so being P7 in the championship, it's not somewhere I want to be.
Overall, I'm actually happy with my current position right now, as I'm in the top 5, fighting to get P3.
We actually didn't expect to do that well. Qualified around 3rd in the top 5, you could say. We're really happy with that, and we actually finished 2nd in the first round. But after that, you couldn't say it was just all downhill from there. We just had a string of bad luck.
For Spa, that was one of my best races. In race 2, I came 2nd with my teammate Nakib winning, scored a lot of points and came 4th overall.
We'll try and work hard, we'll put in a lot of effort, we'll put in a lot of time so that we maintain our position and if not, even extend our gap.
Hello and welcome back to the E1 Championship, everybody, the premier sim racing championship where everybody can race. Don't forget, we're now back to being live every Thursday night from 10 p.m. You can also catch us on our Facebook live stream with our handle E1 Championship, or check us out on Instagram and Twitter with our handle at E1 Race. I'm your host, Daniel Woodruff, and with me is Alex Young, the E1 Championship race director, of course, former Formula One racing driver and founder of Axel Sports. Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas, a little bit late. Alex, how was your break?
Well, it was really good, actually. How was yours? But just before we go to that, I just wanted to say, we did 200 races last year, of virtual races. So I thought when we went to the break, I thought, that's it. I'm not going to miss e-racing at all. But I have to tell you, Daniel, I have. And I can't wait to get back to racing, even though it's not very long since Christmas and New Year.
Well, I completely understand that, and I am sure that all of our drivers haven't had a break at all. I'm sure they've been practicing every single day, even on New Year's, even on Christmas, and we're on lockdown anyway, so they can't go outside. But tonight, we are here for round 6 of 8. We're going to Silverstone in the UK, another driver's track, legendary, and we're getting one step closer to working out who is going to be crowned our very first E1 Championship winner. But before we get to tonight's action on this legendary track, let's have a very quick refresher at the highlights from the previous rounds.
Okay, so we started off at Sepang, and Mikko Nasi won race 1 and also had pole position. But it was a huge battle behind him. Inigo Anton eventually would finish 2nd with Mika Hakkinen 3rd. Saw this incident on the penultimate lap between Nakib and Mikko Nasi. And then on race 2, we saw Ayman Hakim win. Then over to Shanghai, and race 1 was all the RSG show. We saw Ayman Hakim make a great overtake with Nakib Aslan here, and his teammate Mika Hakkinen would follow him over the line in 2nd position to give RSG their first 1-2 of the year. And then onto the race 2, in round 2, of course, we had Nakib Aslan making a one-stop strategy work very nicely indeed. Then over to Dubai, and there was action galore. Nakib Aslan led early on, and he had a great battle with Inigo Anton from Philippines. Unfortunately came to this little incident with Inigo Anton in the wall. However, we saw Mikko Nasi charge through the field, and he would win race 1 and race 2, so really dominated that round. Over to Imola, and again it was a Nakib Aslan and Mikko Nasi show. It's just coming together so often. Mikko Nasi would eventually get penalized for pushing Aslan out at Totosa, so that handed Nakib the race 1 win. But in race 2, Mikko Nasi was not to be denied, and he won despite starting quite far back in the reverse grid race. Great result for him, and he's firmly in the championship lead. Then on to Spa, and it was a Naqib Aslan show. He won race 1 despite a tough battle with Mikko Nasi. Mikko Nasi would actually get disconnected, and then that allowed Naqib to also win race 2, and now Naqib has quite a healthy lead in the championship.
So after 5 action-packed rounds, let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship standings so far. Well, we can see there is a commanding lead by Naqib Aslan of Stratos Motorsports, 37 points ahead of Mikko Nasi and Safehouse, who is 44 points ahead of third. Now, interesting thing here is there's only 78 points separating second and sixth, so it's a very, very tight spread all the way up at the front. We still have a couple races to go, so anything can happen. We've got the 2 RSG boys of Mika Hakimi and Ayman Hakim in third and fourth, Troy Ayman of Scuderia Stratos in fifth, Inigo Anton, the fast Filipino, in sixth, Kalen Chin, 7th, Yevan David, still in the top 10 despite having some bugs plaguing him at the beginning of the season, Ayman Hazik in 9th, and Alistair Young in 10th. Now let's hand it over to the team standings after these last 5 rounds. And we can still see Stratos Motorsports as well up at the front, but not as comfortable. There's only a couple points in it. There's 15 points between first and second. So the championship's still going to be very closely fought, especially into the last round where we have double points. RSG in second, Safehouse, GT Radio Eurasia, Scuderia Stratos, the sister team, ERacing GP, Wolf Virtual Racing, Black Wolf Racing, I1 Racing, and EGG Network rounding out the top 10. So, Alex, what I love about that championship table is that we've passed the halfway point of the championship, but still, it's anybody's call as to who wins, and that's not something you get in Formula One, to be very, very honest.
No, that's exactly right. We've seen such exciting racing. You know, it's been normally a 5-way battle for wins every round we go to. Have to say the consistency though, Mikko Nasi and Naqib Aslan just edging out in front of everyone else. But in the teams battle though, it is still super close. I mean, you got GT Radio Eurasia, we got RSG, and of course both the Stratos teams are doing very well indeed.
Yep, and anything can happen in motorsports. That's the name of the game, and that's even more true for E-Racing in the E1 Championship. RSG had its commanding lead for the first 5 rounds, but it was in round 5, the very last race, where we saw Stratos Motorsports just pip ahead. And we want to know more about that action, so let's go and have a quick chat with the team manager at Team RSG. His name is Ayman, another Ayman in the E1
Championship. Ayman Wafi, how are you today? Welcome back and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Feeling good. We just had a break, and yeah, we're feeling good today.
So you said you had a break, but were your drivers taking a break, or were they practicing every single day?
Yeah, so basically, we had a New Year dinner and like talk things about the next coming race. There's 3 more races to go. We know that we can do it. It's just that there's a few things that we need to train, and they've been training hard for the past few days and actually last week also. So we really want this the win tonight. So yeah, we've been doing our practices and trainings.
So the practice is hugely important, and I'm sure you've been very proud of your drivers up until this point in the season. But tell us about your thoughts on the season so far. As I was saying earlier, RSG was at the top of the championship tables up until the last race where Stratos Motorsports just pipped ahead. What are your thoughts on everything so far, and what's your plan moving forward?
Yeah, so basically for RSG, right, we kind of like new into the E1 championship and racing overall. So along the way, we learn a few things here and there, and of course, we want to like hire right people for the right tournaments, right? So basically, when we thought of Ayman and Mika, they are the best, kind of like one of the best in Malaysia. So while we are new organizations, right, we are learning together with the drivers and see how we can move things forward. So basically, even until now, I'm still learning. But yeah, we are quite satisfied with the performance. But of course, we know that we can win, so we want to give it all on the remaining races. Yeah.
And coming into tonight, Silverstone, a very long and flowy circuit. setup is going to be hugely important. We know we've got very high tire wear. RaceRoom's just had a new update as well, which is going to change things a little bit. What do you think your strengths are, both as a team and with your drivers, are going to be tonight in Silverstone and in the upcoming races?
All right, so basically we have a synergy and plans for Ayman and Mika. So basically both of them have their own have their own skills and specialty. Ayman is always a fast-paced racer, and Mika is always going the race for the long run. So we have some strats that we can't actually like see, right? So maybe we have some things tonight that you will see on the track. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're very excited to see what you guys have in store for us. You've been excellent so far. We're looking forward to seeing
Thank you so much.
the action tonight. Best of luck, and see you guys soon.
All right.
All right, exciting stuff from Team RSG. They've been very strong and consistent, but we know they're going to put in a strong performance again tonight. We're going to have even more insights and analysis on Silverstone Circuit tonight, but first, a very short break.
Well, Silverstone has been one of the most challenging tracks in the world. Definitely, I would say, one of my favorites.
First time I'm racing there, and I'll find a way to tackle it.
I especially enjoy the flow of the circuit, so many sweepers, and there's a lot of passing opportunities as well.
I just love the fact that it's so high speed and it's very fun to drive, especially through Maggots and Chapel.
I think the greatest challenge would be tire wear, because all the long flowy corners, hard braking zones.
Your rear can sub out quite easily in those slow, tight corners. So you want to find the right setup that kind of stabilizes your rear.
The mixture of corners, there's Maggots and Beckett's, which is the S's, and then there's obviously turn 3 and 4, just the slowed down part.
Those corners with these cars, oh my god, it's so crazily quick.
You can make up a lot of time or lose a lot of time if you make mistakes.
That would be a really fun section to be on.
Welcome back, guys, to the E1 Championship. As you saw just there, we are at round 6 and we're going to be racing at the Silverstone Circuit. And just before we get you into more of the action tonight, let's go have a very quick recap into the championship's rules and format.
So here we go. As you can see, this is the calendar so far. We started off in Asia, then we moved to Europe. We are now at Silverstone, which is the last round of Europe before we go to America for Road America, before finally finishing at Bathurst in Australia.
And at every round, we're going to have the same format, and that's going to be starting off with a qualifying round, 5 minutes to determine your starting position, then a short race 1, and then a longer race 2, which has the added twist of a reverse grid.
And here are the points available. So we give the same amount of points for race 1 and 2, 25 points for first, down to 1 point for 15th position. However, race 1, obviously you have qualifying points for the top 5 as well.
And of course, the name of the game is collecting the most points to then become the championship winner, with points available throughout qualifying, race 1 and race 2. And of course, the person that walks away with the most points and gets crowned our championship winner gets turned our very first E1 championship winner and $5,000 US in the bag. Now, let's take a look at the drivers who are fighting for that cash prize, starting with Team RSG. Very strong fielding. Ayman Hakim and Mika Hakimi, the two Malaysians, putting in another strong performance tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, we go to another super strong esports team, Wolf Virtua Racing, with Colin Lee and Alvin Yat, and both these drivers are from Malaysia.
We then next have the fast Filipino duo of Inigo Anton and Joaquin Garrido racing for GT Radial Eurasia Motorsports.
And then we have the first of the Stratos teams, Yevan David and Nakib Aslan. Yevan David's from Sri Lanka, and of course Nakib Aslan is our championship leader, and he's 20 years old from Malaysia.
And alongside them, the sister Stratos team, fielding Troy Ayman and Arif Azmi, both Malaysians as well, both teenagers, and both racing for Stratos Motorsports in their real-life go-kart racing team.
Yeah. And then we have Black Wolf Racing, Kalen Chin, the Singapore-Australian driver, with Daniel Uy. Daniel Uy is actually going to get replaced. He just had a mechanical issue, and he's getting replaced by Josh Perwin from Australia.
I1 Racing fielding Benjamin James Seek from New Zealand, and alongside him, Luchan Yang, the Malaysian. Benjamin always wearing his Mario Kart outfit.
Absolutely. And then we have Safe House, Alistair Young in the car number 3 with Mikko Nasi in car number 4. Mikko Nasi, our early championship leader, who's now runner-up to Naqib Aslan.
And what would the E1 Championship be without our celebrities? We've got Whelan Choi again, a familiar face trackside at the Sepang International Circuit. Alongside him, we have Leona Chin, the Drift Queen, the queen of going viral on the internet here in Malaysia. And alongside her, Ivan Vantagiato, all the way in Australia, the 32-year-old digital marketing agency owner who, fun fact, can't cook.
And then we have our ERGP drivers. Here's Francis Gonzalez from Philippines. These are the drivers that qualify through the ERGP leaderboard. If you're quick enough, you get to race with the pros. And of course, Fadli Rahman, Indonesian driver, super quick and quick on all sorts of platforms. And finally, Muhammad Zini from Singapore. Zini's a really new driver to simulator racing, but he's improving very quickly.
So again, a very strong driver lineup racing on a very exciting track. Tonight, Silverstone in the UK. Alex, have you raced there before?
Yes, I have, and I love it. It's also great because we get lots of overtaking, especially with DRS zones today. It's going to be a slipstreaming fest.
So we're going to get into more insights on that track in a minute, but let's go straight into a deep dive of some key facts on Silverstone. So our track of the day tonight is Silverstone, all the way in Stavelot, Northamptonshire, UK. It's held the very first Formula One World Championship back in 1950, almost ancient history now. And it's owned by the very prestigious British Racing Drivers Club. This track, like many others, goes in a clockwise direction. It's 5.89 kilometers long and has 18 very difficult turns in total, and you can tell, Alex, that this is one of those legendary tracks, because as we were saying about Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, you know a track's legendary when you don't use the numbers to tell what corner you're on, but you instead use the names.
Yeah, and that's right. You know, there's so many great corners here. I can't wait to see the race. So fast and flowing, like you said. It's going to be a real driver's challenge.
So a lot of challenges, Alex. Take us on a clap.
Okay, here we go. Down the start-finish straight, we're using the Formula One paddock. And here, turn 1 is through Abbey. Easy flat to 1 and 2 with these Formula 1-esque cars. Now turns 3 and 4, the arena section. Very slow, very easy to make a mistake, and it's actually one of the hardest parts of the track to get right. So this is where the driver's going to get different, especially down to traction out of the corner as we now go down the Wellington Straight. You will see some DRS zones here and some overtaking before braking for Brooklands. Brooklands really brake only after you turn in, slowing down all the way as it bleeds straight into Luffield again. Now out of Luffield again, traction's going to be so key to get out of a good exit out of there. And then now come flat out through Woodcut. Woodcut easy flat, and it's one of the original corners on this historic track. Now to Copse, one of my favorite corners, easy flat in these Formula 1 cars, not so easy in other cars I've driven around here. Now the most famous part perhaps, which is the Maggots-Beckett's complex, left, right, 4.5G one way, 4.5G the other way. And you need to really nail this last right left-hander onto the hangar straight because it leads down this long straight where you will have lots of overtaking. Drag reduction systems will be open and they'll be trying to overtake you to this corner. Stowe. Wow, you carry so much speed there. You brake after you turn in and it's a super fast corner. Okay, only a couple more corners to go. We go through Vale here, this left-right chicane. Very tight and twisty. Again, traction is key as you come out of here. Easy flat through the last corner, turn 18, and that's a lap of Silverstone.
Alex, I'm impressed. You remembered all the corner names.
So am I.
the layouts changed a little bit though since you last raced there.
Yeah, the 50s. It's black and white back then too.
So as we saw there, it was very fast. My neck hurts just from watching that onboard video. Alex, do you think there's any risk of more damage because it's an even faster track, or is overtaking going to be even harder?
Well, because it's so fast, if you do go off, you're going to have big damage because luckily there's lots of runoff area, but if you go fast on the barriers, because it's so fast, you will go to the barriers actually, and then you can damage the car. So they might have a few drivers not finishing the race even.
Well, we're going to see what happens tonight very soon, but first, Alex, I think we're going to speak to one of the drivers while practice is happening right now. Let's go and speak to Ayman Aziz. Ayman Hakim, my apologies, Team RSG.
Yeah, let's talk to Ayman. Ayman, good to speak to you. We were just talking to your team manager earlier on, and you know, you guys have been leading the championship for most of the season. Now you're second in the team's championship. Think you can snatch back the lead?
Hopefully. I'm gonna try our best for sure to give a run on the money for Stratos. So yeah.
Okay, so you guys dominated in Shanghai, and you won those races on the basis of your good setup. Your setup had such good traction out of the slow corners. Silverstone, while it's known for the fast corners, has a lot of slow corners as well where you need good traction out of. And the practice race yesterday, you looked really good. So it looks like you have that special traction here again. What are your chances of winning today?
We'll see in the race because I knew that some drivers are definitely gonna hide their sandbagging and hide their weights. So we just have to see in the race how it goes on.
Okay, keeping your cards close to your chest. I like that. Good luck, man, and we'll speak to you later.
All right, well, a lot of big things to be expected from Team RSG tonight at Silverstone Circuit. We've got qualifying coming up very soon, and to walk you through that action, we have Amir and Des for you tonight. Over to you guys.
Big clap to Dan Woodruff and Alex Young for their pre-race get-together. Amir Hazik makes his debut for us in the commentary chair for us, but do not worry, Amo is very, very accomplished at ERacing. Welcome aboard, Amo. What are you expecting today, particularly from Silverstone?
Well, particularly with the high tire weight that we heard from Alex just now, right? We're going to have a lot of pit stops during the long race 2, 30-minute race. Looking forward to it. This is one of the fastest circuits in the entire calendar, besides Spa, of course, and if we didn't have Monza. So yeah, the racing is going to be really, really close.
Alex has taken us around a circuit already. Are there any things that you have to treat differently between racing and ERacing?
Yeah, basically a lot. For example, like you can go back to the pits quickly if you have a crash. In real life, once you have a whack into the barriers, like for example what happened to Brendan Hartley at Brooklands back in 2018, you're out for the entire session. So they can get away with so many things in e-racing.
Okay, let's. I think we can head over just to the last few seconds of practice. There's about 35 seconds or so. All the drivers are out there on the circuit at the moment. Let's just ride aboard Mikko Nasi now. Mikko, he is second in the championship at the moment, but he's had some dreadful luck over the last couple of races. He's got to make a mark today, I feel.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, he also had a few penalties along the way as well, particularly with his collision with his fellow stablemate, per se, Naki Baslan. So yeah, if he had no collision and no penalties to go with it, he will be right up there in the championship. So here he is, we're viewing right now. Nice banana, by the way. He's got really his fashion sense on with his race, and hopefully that banana will bring him good luck.
Okay, practice is nearly just about over. Obviously, Mikko is one of the guys we'll keep an eye on, the likes of Whelan Choi, etc. We'll keep an eye on him as well. The qualification is about to get underway. Okay, qualification. This is so important. Let's get on board maybe some of the quicker guys. Mikko Nasi, we were on board, but Naki Baslam, he is the guy I think that we really need to be expecting to be producing the business. He's the championship leader. He is in great form, and this is an opportunity to set a good starting time.
Yep, indeed. In fact, that practice session so far, he hasn't really shown his pace. He was about 2 seconds behind Kalen, who is the guy that will really be up there in the championship, but at the moment, P7, not what he wanted, and indeed, during one of the interviews, he actually said he could have been performed better. He's showing his cards here early. He was fastest in practice, and he's 2/10 faster than Lewis Hamilton's 2017 pole lap, just to get a good comparison.
How's he posting at the moment? The line looks pretty sharp. He looks very focused. We're looking down bottom right. My apologies, I've gone to the wrong person there. I'm delighted to introduce Whelan Choi, but he's not the guy I was really after. Where is Nakib? We're back with Nakib once again. Sorry to the race director, but Nakib, fastest through Sector 1, Amo. That's a great start for him.
Indeed, and the fact that, mind you, we haven't had a lap time on board yet, so fast, he might be the first guy to have broken the timing beam. So 26.7, that's actually relatively off compared to how Kalen was doing, which was around 26.5, I think. So this is just a banker lap. He can still have another round after this once he crosses the finish line.
Still is purple through the S's though. That Beckett's turn is always good fun as they come down at the end of that long straight. Again, I'm just looking at your version, because you're an e-racing expert, on how the guys are looking at the moment.
Looking so far so good. Not to say that he is not really pushing. He is actually going fast right now. In fact, he's going to be around a 26. Oh, it's a 26.7. and he's only about 300 behind Alistair Young. So 26.6, it matches Lewis Hamilton's pole position time.
Alistair Young is the man who is in pole at the moment. There's 3 minutes left for them to go, which is probably an opportunity for 2 decent attempts to get a good time in. But Alistair lapping a 1:26.691. That's not going to be good enough, is it?
Well, because Kalen actually did 26.4 in practice, so 2/10 off from that is not bad actually. It could be on pole. And the fact that Alistair, I met him earlier, he said that he wasn't really rating his chances quite highly. He wasn't happy with the setup. The car wasn't feeling nice at all. So right now, he's actually doing the business. And look at that, Kalen has done a 26.4 as well. 2/10, exactly how he said. I just said it. So yeah, Alistair's looking good so far.
Yeah, Alistair looking pretty good. He hasn't had a podium so far. Let's just break away from him because, as you quite rightly say, Kalen Chin, the young Aussie, is the man who is in pole position at the moment, so 26.4. So he's replicated what he did in practice. Is that going to be good enough? It's a question I'll keep asking you.
Depends, because right now 26.4 was his fastest in practice, and people are not even matching his lap time, so he might just go even quicker here if he gets his lap right. And right now, only 400 off in his first sector.
Kalen, remember we've got double points available on the last round of games, so even though he's quite a long way down in the overall championship standings, you go into Bathurst within about 30 or 40 points, and you've got a real opportunity, actually even further than that, 50 points from the championship lead. You've got a real opportunity, so a victory here today puts him right back in the reckoning.
Yeah, indeed, and in fact that right now he's the most left of left field, if we could put a baseball analogy in there. Oh, he goes wide. There goes his lap time, so that 26.4 will be the target for everyone to beat. And he's chuckling about it right now, but in actuality, he might not still be safe, as Nakib goes on pole by 8 thousandths.
Yeah, Nakib Aslan has gone quickest. How about that? Right, Miko Nasi. What has Miko Nasi got to offer? Second in the overall championship standings. We've got less than a minute to go. Nasi at the moment is only on the 4th row of the grid, and he's not going to be able to finish this lap, is he?
No, he hasn't. And the fact that he just broke the timing beam at the start finish line just right there with a minute to go, he has no time left to actually complete this. He is consigned to the 4th row of the grid for this race.
Well, at one stage, Miko Nasi looked like he was going to take a heck of a lead into the midpoint part of the season. Now he's struggling to hold on to the coattails of Nakib Aslan. Nakib, there's still a few seconds to go in qualification, but at the moment, it's Nakib and Kalen Chin on pole. Alistair and Yevon David, the Sri Lankan, on the second row. Ayman Hakim Tadashi and Josh Perwin, who's coming in for his first drive of the season, on row 3. Nasi alongside Troy Ayman, the best of the Filipinos. Inigo Anton alongside Arif Azmi on the 5th row. Nobody has changed that, so Nakib, you may have had a 2-week break, Nakib Aslan, but my word, you're straight into the business.
Yeah, indeed. And the fact that to put it out of the box, you know, he pulled the rabbit out of the hat, literally, because we didn't expect him after his practice session, not to say woes, he was 2 seconds off. Guess he was just sandbagging for all we know. And now, to be right in front of the sharp end of the grid, he's going to increase the points gap to him and Miko with this very race right now.
Alex Young is trying to get in touch with 1 or 2 of the racers. If we can just head over to Alex to see who we're going to be talking to.
Guys, Keith, do you have a quick word to say for us?
Yeah, it was a good lap. I'm really happy and I'm excited for the race.
Okay, that's only 40 seconds ago for the start of the race. We're going to leave you here. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, a little bit too much of the races there. That is all part of the E1 Championship experience, but I'm glad there was no expletive in there from Nakib. I would have been tempted to do exactly that. But Nakib Aslan on pole, so important that he gets off to a good start, but more important for the championship, Miko Nasi, Tadashi, those who are in the chasing group need to get off to a good start, Amo.
Yep, and the fact that he's the head that could get away with this. We've only have 15 minutes, I think, for this race, so it might not be enough. If Nakib just sprints away from the rest, there's no way back for any of them.
Indeed, we're just waiting for the red lights. When the red lights go off, we will be underway. We will get on board with Miko Nasi for the start. Keep a look at the top of your screen. The red lights are about to go off. Nasi is off to a bit of a flyer. He's picked up 1 place, then 2 places, but then he's caught up in traffic. And Nakib Aslan has got away nice and smooth while everybody around him is playing dodgem cards with each other. But terrific stuff from Nakib.
Absolutely, that's the sort of getaway that he would want it. He is being the hare right now, and the rest are greyhounds trying to catch that hare. And Ayman Hakim actually had a really bad start. Somehow he managed to get away with it, and he's up to second. So he managed to jump everyone. And out of all that, Kaylin Chin was the loser out of that from the front row. He's dropped to third. As the cars now come through Brooklands, it is going to be argy-bargy here in this first few laps.
Miko Nassi alongside Arif Asman and Troy Ayman. He's lost a number of places. Alistair Young, who was third on the grid, is down in P4. Kaylin Chin, who was on the front row of the grid alongside Nakib, is in P3. But the man you quite rightly mentioned, he's got off to a really good start. Ayman Hakim, they call him Tadashi. Ayman Hakim, though, he needs good points today.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, he is kind of like the outside bet, like Kaylin Chin for the championship. He's only about 83 points behind Nakib now, and with double points on offer in the last round, he needs to actually get a good race, a good result for this one. And at the moment, he's doing just that, but unfortunately, the man he's chasing is right in front of him.
I was just going to say, look how much of a lead that Nakib Aslan has been able to take as Kaylin Chin tries to come around the outside of Tadashi and gets on the inside. So Kaylin Chin has helped himself to P2, but ahead of them, 3 seconds clear is Nakib Aslan. What do we look at on tyres? Nakib is on soft compound tyres. So everybody else is on hard. So Nakib is probably trying to get away to a flyer and will probably make a pit stop.
That might not be a good option because in a sprint race, especially this short right, the delta in the pit stop is about 30 seconds. So even if he pulls a 20-second gap here, it might not be enough once he comes to the pits and gets out. So I don't know why he's going on softs. That is a stunning strategy from Stratos here to get him well ahead of the others. So he might try to avoid a puncture towards the end.
Well, he is ahead of the others. We're on board with Kaylin Chin and Tadashi. But Nakib Aslan, there he is. This is the race leader. Bottom right of your screen, S, soft compound tyres. It is a huge gamble, and he's gone out like Concorde. 133.034 his outlap. What a start and a 4.5 second lead.
He did. In fact, he just took off from Heathrow. He's already halfway to JFK by now. That's how far of a gap that he's actually pulling from the rest of the field. Stunning pace that he's showing right now. But he knows full well that he only has about 12 minutes to go. He needs to keep these tyres alive towards the end. Otherwise, he could be swallowed up by the rest of the pack and his championship would look completely pear-shaped.
Well, Stratos Motorsports, they always keep us on our toes. Let's look a little bit further down. We were very close to Miko Nassi. Miko Nassi only P7. This is where he qualified. And Josh Berwin is alongside him, as is Mika Hakimi and Inigo Anton and Alvin Yak. So there's a 5-man battle there for P7.
And Mika being the odd one out there, he just got literally mullered by Miko Nassi. And Inigo Anton right behind us. Anton's teammate Garrido gets a stop and go penalty for overtaking on the others. So one GT Radio Eurasia car is attacking, the other one's actually being attacked by the stewards. As more touching there, but we're on board with Alvin Yak. He's got the best view of the lot here between the 5 drivers battling for the edges of the top 10.
Alvin Yak is one of the guys who has improved as the season has gone on. He's unlikely to get into the top 5 in the championship as he just goes a little bit wide there, but currently in P11, but he's got Josh Berwin in his sights. That's how close it is. There's less than a second between Berwin, who's in that position there, and Alvin Yak, who we were just on board. Up at the front, once again, Nakib Aslan. The lead is now 5.5 seconds. What a strategy. He's raced for 4 minutes. If he's making a pit stop, Amo Hazik, when will he come in?
No, I would say no.
You say no?
No.
You're saying he's just going to try and hold on?
Yes. He shouldn't do a pit stop at this time because that will be suicidal for his, not only this race, but his championship, because the drivers will get points on him with this one. He should not go for a pit stop in the 15-minute race. He has to go for it. And by hook or by crook, he has to avoid a Lewis Hamilton type situation of a puncture on the final lap. Everyone would just swamp him if that were to happen.
Nakib Aslan's New Year's resolution is clearly go for it, come what may. In the meantime, the battle behind them. Tadashi goes on the outside of Kaylin Chin. Kaylin holds him off. Tadashi has the inside line, and Tadashi just cannot hold on. Kaylin doing a great job.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that despite being nicked at the start by Alistair as well, actually, he made his way back up to second. But right now, Ayman Hakim really pushing it onto the inside, coming through Brooklands, and he gets him. They've been swapping positions all around for the last couple of laps we saw, and especially Kaylin, that brilliant move at the last corner through the Club in Vale chicanes. That is the sort of move that we actually saw in Formula 2 races, and he replicated that here in the ERacing 17 cars.
So he's got himself up into P2. Inigo Anton has been making a bit of a move. He's got himself up into P8, the fast Filipino, as we keep hearing that he is. And Inigo is the fastest of the Filipinos, but he's 1.5 seconds down on Mika Hakimi, and Ben Seek behind him in the white, the New Zealander racing out of Brunei. This is a good performance from Ben Seeker in this company in a #1 race.
Yeah, this is actually a turn out for the books for this team, because they are, as he says in the interviews as well, they're kind of like the perennial backmarkers for this league, but they've been improving steadily round by round, and 9th place at the moment is a good return. In fact, you can actually do one better if you can actually catch up to Inigo Anton in the closing stages of this race.
Wow, Yevon David has had a bit of a problem. Yevon David is out, but Ben Seek, good to see him. Yevon David, I can tell you, is out of the race. Leona Chin is struggling as well. Joaquim Garrido is right down at the bottom, and Nakib Aslan's lead is already beginning to be chipped away. It was 6 seconds, it is 6 seconds again, but Tadashi looks like he's making a bit of a move, or is he?
Yeah, is he? Yes, he is, because he's about 1.5 seconds already clear of Kalen Chin. So he is making a move on. But right now, the gap between him and Ayman, 5.7 seconds. From Ayman and Nakib. That 5-second gap might not be enough yet for Nakib to be safe.
That did look just a little bit messy for Nakib there as he slides around the magnificent shot of 10, 11, 12 and 13 here at Silverstone. Maggots through Beckett's, it's beautiful stuff. And then the long straight coming down the Hanger Straight. The lead, 5.5 seconds. I'm really fascinated to see if Ayman Hakim Tadashi can get Nakib in his sights.
Yeah, not about yet. About 8 minutes to go, 5.8 seconds. It's possible. But only because Nakib's now worrying about the tires. He's trying to back off bit by bit. He's not trying to push it anymore. And if he pushes it like the way that Hamilton pushed it in the British Grand Prix that we had last year, he might just blow it in the last lap. So interesting to see whether or not that will happen. But right now, it's a bit sprung out here in the closing stage. We're halfway through the race. It's still all to play for yet.
Battle for P2 we are watching just at the moment. In the meantime, just before it gets really dicey, let's see how our friend Miko Nasi is doing. He's on the back there of Ben Seek, but I tell you what, Miko is having a torrid time because he's down in P10 ammo, and this is not good for his championship hopes.
And starting P7, he dropped really well behind. Don't know what happened to him in the first couple of laps. Maybe he got a few collisions along the way, but I'm surprised to see he hasn't had the pace so far to match with like Nakib, for example. Nakib has been really strong, and in fact goes wide there at Brooklands. Is he going to get nicked? Yes, Colin Lee goes onto the inside and takes him. Now he switches around the outside. But this is a really disastrous race for Miko Nasi, and I don't know if any other drop races are counted towards his tally, because if this is the second race that he has that is a bad one, then the championship is good as Nakib's.
Yeah, he had a 13, so he's had one bad round already, Miko. This is looking not so great for him. Up at the front, I can tell you, Nakib Aslan has the lead, but the lead is whittled down.
Oh, he's
going into the pits, is he?
Yes, he is.
Nakib Aslan into the pits. It's a huge gamble for Nakib.
And we were just talking about Miko Nasi's championship slipping away. Now Nakib just did what Miko wanted him to do and come into the pits and go all the way to the back of the grid. The championship pendulum is now swinging to Ayman Hakim's favor because he is leading the race, and he is 1.9 seconds clear of Kalen.
So Ayman Hakim, he decided on the hard compounds. What a gamble from Nakib, but clearly he was worried that even with 5 minutes to go, well, what will he be able to do on Nakib? Where will he come out? Let's just go back to him because he's dropped right the way down to P8. He's back out on the circuit, is Nakib. Ayman Hakim and Kalen Chin, we will look at them 1 and 2, all on the hard compound. But what a story, what a gamble. Is he going to be able to make it up? Because I tell you, it's only about 9 seconds between him and the race leader.
You know what? That might just still be possible for Nakib because because we saw just now at the start of the race, he pulled a 3-second gap, and it's only 5 minutes left. So it's going to be nip and tuck. It's going to be all the way to the final corner for all we know if he could get past the drivers as soon as possible.
Absolutely fascinating. It's one heck of a gamble by Nakib Aslan. He is going for it. He's got the fastest time of a 1:28.5 He's the only one inside 129, so we know he can make up a second a lap. Can he make up a second and a half a lap? Because the hard compound tyres, they'll have wear and tear on them as well.
Yep, and yeah, their degradation is quite gradual. It's not as bad as the soft tyres, but it will still not feel as good as a brand new set of soft tyres as Nakib goes around the outside of Alistair Young and makes it stick. That's a very typical move that you see in Formula 3 and Formula 2 at the Portville chicane. Now then, P7, he is only just 14 seconds behind Ayman Hakim. This could be really nip and tuck in the final laps of this race.
Only 4 minutes to go though. Ayman Hakim has got the lead. Maybe he's too far away. Kalen Chin is the man in P2. It's a 3-second differential between the Malaysian and the Australian. And there is Ayman Hakim looking pretty calm and pretty focused, bottom right of your screen there. But those hard compound tyres, talk to me about the degradation as a driver.
Yeah, they will feel bad, especially towards the end of this race, at least in the 15-minute mark. Whereas the soft tyres, you might feel it fall off completely by the 7-minute mark. So you can see how much the gradual degradation happens. And that's why Nakib, he had to go for that pit stop. Otherwise, he will risk having a puncture and he will fall at least about 4 minutes short of completing the race. As he now goes onto the inside, Inigo Anton at the Cops, and he makes it.
Aslan is now up to P6. Inigo Anton is the latest to fall. Brave from Inigo, but in the end, Nakib is chasing now Mika Hakimi, but surely he cannot make it. It's a long, long gap now. Inigo Anton has dropped down into P7. Alistair Young is in P8. In hot pursuit now, though, of Mika Hakimi. He might not be able to make a podium, but he certainly had a big gamble in this particular race.
Yeah, he's doing like in the Formula 2 race in Bahrain where we've had, you know, the degradation of that track is so severe, you have to do a sprint race pit stop. And what he's done here is exactly the same, except it's at Silverstone. And he's done an absolute blinder of a strategy to do so. But unfortunately, it won't reap his rewards as he goes around the outside here at the arena section of Mika Hakimi. And against the inside, that's a very easy maneuver. He's got it done. Now he's going to have to get a move on because he only has 2.5 minutes left to go and 12 seconds to make up. 6 seconds per lap. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, no, it's too much, surely. Let's move away onto the race leader because Ayman Hakim Tadashi, he got off very well. He was only on, the second row of the grid, but he made a very good start, posted himself into P1. When Nakib made that pit stop, he was the man who capitalized, and the lead ahead of Kalen Chin is a healthy 3.5 seconds.
And he can count his lucky stars too because he didn't have such a good start. He bogged it a bit, but somehow Kalen actually even had an even worse start, and he really knocked into the side of Alistair Young. Now, with Hakim clearing Chin, he's got a clear road to what could possibly be a victory. He'll be hoping his fingers are crossed at this moment.
Tell you what, Tadashi, as they call him, Ayman Hakim, he is getting himself into the title race because Nasi is still in P10. He's having a bit of a nightmare. Nakib Aslan, let's go back to Nakib because he's closed there on Troy Ayman. Nakib is now up into P4. Nakib up to P4 as Francis Angelo Gonzalo gets a drive-through penalty, but only 1 minute 20 left. And Arif Azmi ahead of him is chasing his first podium.
And he's going to nick it off his own two teammates in the Stratos stable, we can safely say. So Nakib might put moral feelings aside if he wants to hunt for the championship, and he really wants it. He's been really on it after losing out in ERGP by just 2 points. So this is very circumstantial, so he might want to put that memory to bed as well.
Right, okay, so Arif Azmi is holding on to P3 at the moment, but Nakib is closing. It was 3 seconds and Arif was out of sight. Where are we? Are we going to have one more lap after this?
I think this might be the final lap.
This is the final lap. So let's go on to our race leader, Ayman Hakim Tadashi, as he go around Maggots and Beckett's for the very, very last time. He's got a 6-second lead now, has Tadashi. And although it's been a safe, conservative drive, it's going to be the one that really, really works out. Nakib took the gamble. It didn't work. Ayman Hakim said, safety first, tortoise over hare, and maximum points on race number 1.
Absolutely. This is the sort of result that he would have dreamt of, and he has gotten it. What a way to announce yourself into the championship fight.
Indeed. The lead is 3.5 seconds over Kalen Chin. And there is the victory for Ayman Akeem Tadashi. 25 points for the Malaysian. Kalen Chin will come through in P2. Big smile from the teenage Australian in car number 66. Arif Azmi picks up his first podium, or does he? Yes, he does. Arif Azmi picks up the podium ahead of Nakib Aslan. The gambler didn't quite get double six, but my word, he made it fun. But Ayman Akeem Tadashi is the man who is enjoying the victory spin. And let's see if we've got enough time, maybe Alex Young, to maybe have a quick chat with Ayman Akeem Tadashi and how safety first, as he does the turtles, was the way to go.
Okay, so just on the radio right now, Ayman Akeem, nice race win, nice donuts as well. Take us through your race.
Yeah, had a pretty unfortunate qualifying there. Could have been in the front row, but yeah, as I see that those Stratos Motorsports car has a better on the straight line, so we knew that we had to fight a bit in the race. But I'm not so sure what happened to Nakib, and he was leading us towards almost the end, and he suddenly pitted. So yeah, I guess.
I think that was our fault because we talked to him just before the race while he was choosing his tires, and he chose the wrong tires. So that's on us. So he went to the soft tire, so he had to pit. But he finished fourth. But still, you know, great result for you, Ayman. I think you had the pace in the race. Even if Nakib had been on the same tires, I think you could have taken the race to him. Now we're going to look ahead for the next race, the longer race with tire wear at ×4. What's going to happen?
For sure there's gonna be a pit. I think Nakib surely had practiced his own pit stop first.
Yeah. So I mean, you got really good tire wear, so looking good, yeah.
Yeah, pretty average, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
So Ayman Akeem picking up 25 points. Nakib Aslan giving us great entertainment despite the late distraction, picking up the bonus 2 points for a 15-point P4. Arif Azmi, great result for the teenage Malaysian. He picks up his first podium of the E1 Championship. And Kalen Chin, that is a very, very handy 20 points. Little bit further down though, Miko Nasi in P10. That could be catastrophic, but we've got a reverse grid race coming up and an opportunity for Miko to maybe pick up some useful points. Okay, terrific racing in race number 1. Plenty of entertainment. Enjoy that, Amo?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't expect that little curveball that was given to Nakib gave us quite a good race. So hopefully for more the same in the second one.
Absolutely. And for the second one and reaction to race number 1 that we've just seen, it's back to Dan and Alex Young.
Thank you, Des. I love when the camera pans to Ayman in all the races. You know when he's angry, you know when he's upset, but you also know when he's happy. And then right there at the end, he did his donuts on the track.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I didn't even know he could do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when he, the other flip of the coin is when he gets angry, he gets super angry as well. And we can't show you those videos. But now we got race 2, Daniel. It's going to be top 12. So I think that puts Benjamin Seek on pole position again. So I think we're going to be in for a crack of a race.
All right, well, a lot of action to come, more analysis, more interviews. But first, a very short break. We'll see you soon. Hi guys, welcome back to the E1 Championship. We're here at round 6. We're racing in Silverstone in the UK. We've just finished qualifying and race 1. It's been super exciting. I think the name of the game there was strategy, particularly for one driver, because everybody else was more or less the same tires, and that was Nakib Aslan at Stratos Motorsports. Where did he go wrong? Or where did he go right?
Well, why don't we find out? I think we have to talk to him. We'll try and get Nakib on Zoom right now. So Nakib, first of all, I think I just have to say, oh, we just lost him off Zoom. There he is, he's back again. So, Nakib, I have to apologize because team managers told me, in caps actually, not to talk to you after qualifying because he put the wrong tires on.
Yeah, in other terms, you can call it a wardrobe malfunction. But I mean, these things happen, you know, some people make mistakes, and yeah, Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Yeah, your championship rival Miko Nasi had a shocker of a race as well. So you still look good for the championship. How's the pace of the car?
Pace looked good. I think we were coming into the unknown for this weekend. Not sure what others will be doing, but looking at quality, looking at the race, I think we had good pace. So looking forward to race 2, starting better than Ayman and Kalen. So looking forward to move up from there.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. If you tell us your strategy, we won't talk to you during the race.
I think it's relatively similar for everyone, so I look forward to it.
Well, we thought it was going to be similar there in race 1. Just give us a quick indicator, which corners are the best ones to overtake here? I was going to ask you about strategy myself, but I knew you weren't going to answer that.
Overtaking points, every hard braking, so maybe in the chicanes, first turn 3 maybe. So yeah, there's always a lot of overtaking. If you're a bit brave, maybe through cops.
All right, well, that was great to watch. You licked the stamp and you sent it multiple times. Best of luck for race 2 and good luck with your strategy.
Thank you very much.
All right, and up next, we've got time for one more interview. Let's go and have a chat with Kalen Chin, who put in another podium performance tonight.
Kalen, how's it going? Another podium. Good job. I love it. I love when the camera is on you as well because you just beam. You're so happy. How was that?
I mean, it could have been better, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a little battle with Akeem at the start of the race, and then I managed my tires and the pace really well. And then, yeah, I managed to get P2. I was a little disappointed after losing pole by 8 thousandths, but it still got P2 in the end. And yeah, now we're just looking forward to race 2.
Now, you obviously inherited from Nakib's mismatch with his tire choice. He went soft and had to pit, which didn't help him out too much. It did help you, but going into race 2, where you think the strategy might be a bit more even between everybody, where do you think your secret sauce is? Where do you think you're going to kind of pull the rabbit out of the hat, as Amir was saying earlier on?
Well, I mean, because the tire wear is ×4, I don't really think anyone's going to try something like completely bizarre, like maybe a 3 or 4 stop with softs, but I mean, I think most people are going to do hards, but I still haven't really decided yet. I didn't really have much time to practice, but yeah, I'm just gonna try see what I can do, and yeah, just see how it goes.
Okay, and Kalen, just one last question. Obviously, you got a new teammate today. Daddy obviously had some issues with his hardware. Josh Perlman is with you. You guys know each other from ERGP and stuff. You guys sharing setup information?
Yeah. So right when you announced his replacement, Josh and I instantly talked to each other and discussed about setups, and he managed to qualify P6, which is really good for him. And yeah, we communicated well in quali and in practice as well, and it did him really well. And he finished P9 in the race, which is really good for him, considering he didn't really have that much experience with the car. So
yeah,
honestly, for Black Wolf Racing, it's good for the team and also good for him as well. It will boost his confidence up, hopefully. And yeah, we work really well together, and I really enjoy it.
Okay, well, congratulations. I mean, it is top 12 that is reversed now. So Josh will start near the front, and you'll start a little bit in the middle of the pack. Good luck for race 2.
Thank you.
Some great insights there from Kalen Chin. Surprising, he said he didn't have much practice, and neither did his teammate, but they've both put in a strong top 10 performance, and of course himself on the podium. But before we get to race 2, let's take a look at the highlights from race 1 and then look at the results right after.
Okay, so off the start there, Miko Nasi had a good start, but he got boxed in there by the Stratos cars. But then we saw Ayman Akeem with this great move on Kalen Chin to take piece. Tried to take the move. Actually, Kalen actually defended really, really well. But he would get him a little bit later in the lap to take second position, which would become first position after Akeem boxed. Now, Ayman Akeem showed some really good pace as well, able to make those tires last. Miko Nasi, though, here in the black car, number 4, really struggling with pace. I know he was a bit shy on practice, and I think that's why he struggled. Here's Nakib also taking his 1 pit stop. Made a great charge back up the field to get up to 4th position in the end. Here's his move on Alistair Young. So good recovery, good drive to limit damage, shall we say. And here he is taking Inigo Anton as well. So he'll be relatively pleased with fourth. Not so happy, obviously, with the slight mistake at the start due to my fault, to be honest. But still, good result for him. But this is the man that was really hard to beat. Ayman Hakim, great pace in the race and won comfortably in the end.
So after that hectic race, let's take a look at the final results. We've got Ayman Hakim there in P1, and for all of you hardcore E1 Championship fans, this is where you're going to be taking your notes, because we know that the championship fight for both the drivers and the team have been going down to the wire. So every point you see here counts. We've got Kalen Chin there in P2, taking away 20 points, and then it's a Stratos sandwich. You've got Arif Azmi, Nakib Aslan, and Choi Ayman, with Nakib bagging the fastest lap as well, and that's why you can see his points there in purple. All the way down, we've got Mika Hakimi, Alistair Young, Inigo Anton, Josh making his debut in the top 10. Very, very impressive stuff. As Caitlin was saying, hopefully his confidence boosts up for the race 2. And Miko Nasi rounding out the top 10. Well, race 2, reverse grid. We've got Benjamin Seek on pole again. He's had that opportunity a couple of times this season. Do you think he's had enough experience there at the front now to make it stick?
Yeah, so I mean, this game, this competition has been brand new for i1 Racing, for Benjamin Seek and of course Churn in the other car. So you can see that, especially the first race, they were quite off the pace. They've been getting faster and faster, always finishing in the points now. But Ben Seek, again, for some reason, we always get top 12 reverse. It's randomly decided, and I promise you it's randomly decided, but we got to top 12 again. And Ben has started on pole for the reverse grid race. I think this is his third race in a row now. The last 2 races, I think he struggled, didn't he? He was trying to get out of people's ways, had some contact, and they just fell straight to the back. Let's hope he has a more calm first couple of laps, and hopefully he can finish the top 10.
Well, we've only got a couple minutes left of the practice session before we see what happens there in race 2. And to walk you through the action, once again, we've got Des and Amir. Over to you, boys.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Alex. Yes, Amir Amo for proper recognition alongside me, and fascinating choice of tyres in race number 1. I'm just looking down the tyre selection for race number 2. We've got the timing board here, and some guys have gone soft. Ben Seek and Ivan Vantagiato, they're 2 of the outsiders. They've gone soft. Everybody else deciding to go hard, apart from Nakib Aslan, who's decided medium compound to get us underway. Now, I know you've been speaking to some of the drivers about what the tyre degradation means. Try and talk us through it in layman's terms.
Okay, so to put it simply, it's how much the tire wears out and how much the grip is actually left. So the more you run, and with the tire wear being so severe, the more it will wear out quicker. So if you're on a very soft tire, the softest tire here, your tires will run out quickly. Much like how if you take a pair of shoes and run a very abrasive surface, you'll run out quickly. So that's the best I could describe in very layman's terms. While the mediums, it's less so, and then the hards even more so, like how they can last a bit longer. They will still wear out, and with the times for tire wear being so severe, they will still have to stop anyway. So no stopping action in this one.
So a medium compound will almost certainly mean 2 pit stops. Yeah. Hard compound, 1.
1, yes. So if, for example, like Nakib's strategy, since he's on the mediums, he will try to stop early and then go all the way to the end with the hard tires. So that's probably the ideal strategy what he wants right now. Granted, he's also starting further behind. I think he's starting in 8th place.
8th place, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 8th place on the grid, and he's starting in that crazy mid-pack that can be a little bit wild sometimes. He will try to get on the faster tires compared to the hard ones, and bolt on the hards at the end to go all the way to the end of the race.
Okay, there's just about 15 seconds left or so for practice for the drivers at the moment, and then we'll go live into Silverstone as they're into the garage. What are guys thinking about at this stage as they come into the final minute or so before a race?
Ultimately, it's just strategy. They want to get their strategies right, and they planned this out even days prior because we had a Christmas holiday in between, so they might have done much running. In fact, some of the guys I know of, they only started practicing a couple of days ago. So they had to do the strategy on the fly. So they based it on previous experiences of other races prior to use it for this one.
Okay, the garage has got 50 seconds or so to go. Are you prepared, Amo, to actually make any predictions on this one? I'm looking at Ayman Hakim Tadashi, as making a real move up the championship standings, because I've seen him race before, and when he's confident, gosh, he can race.
Oh yeah, definitely. And if he's not angry, he could really push it. In fact, you saw just now towards the end of race 1, he was actually smiling all the way. So you can see that he's beaming. That when he's in a positive mood, he can make a lot of things happen. So if he's not in a good mood, if he's really angry, he might just be doing some really dangerous moves. But right now, he looks good to actually get within that championship fight.
So a happy Tadashi is a good Tadashi. A pretty down Miko Nasi, I'd imagine. The only consolation for Miko Nasi, he'll be starting on the second row of the grid. So if he can get off to a flying start, he's got a real chance perhaps of making amends for that poor race number 1. Okay, we are just about set for race number 2. It is a 30-minute reverse grid race. Ben Seek is the man who is on pole position. Nakib Aslan is in P9. Oh, there's a crash right at the back. Even Vantagiato went off, but Nakib Aslan is then caught up in some real aggro going on. Alistair Young and Tadashi also involved there. Ben Seek has got off to a decent start, but so much mayhem going on behind. Inigo Anton in P2, Nasi in P3, hasn't been able to make quite the start he was after.
And I did say earlier just now, the RG in that midfield can get a bit wild, and there's your proof. Anyone who's within that midfield from 8th all the way down to 22nd will be involved in that craziness. But the guy who made a really good start right now is Miko Nasi. He goes around the outside on Inigo Anton through Luffield and doesn't make it stay, but he's going side by side through Woodcote.
Inigo Anton is trying desperately to hold off against Miko Nasi. And there is the battle for P2. There was some real argy-bargy there between the Singaporean-based Finn and the Filipino. But how about this for a start from Ben Seek, racing out to Brunei. We've seen him on pole position a couple of times in the past, and he was just knocked aside. This time, halfway through the first lap, he's held on to that lead. Good stuff by the New Zealander.
But for how long? And then he goes, Miko Nasi goes onto the inside through Stowe, and he made it stick. That was not without DRS, of course. So Ben Singh might have been caught up a bit there.
Sorry, Ben. Okay, Inigo Anton in P4, Alistair Young in P5, Troy Iman 6. I'm looking to see if Ayman Hakim has made a move, and the answer is Ayman Hakim Tadashi is in P9. That's looking back at Yevon David. He's got Josh Berwin, Mika Hakimi ahead of him. Nakib Aslan is the real story, because Nakib, unseen, has got himself up into P3, and there he's trying to go around the outside of Ben Seek and could be looking to get up into P2. Uses the DRS, but where the heck did Nakib come from?
Well, again, what tire is he on right now? He's on the mediums. No, they're all on hards right now.
All on hards.
It's just his pure pace and good setup. He's just got up there. But right now, because he was trying to attack James Seek, he's being attacked by Alistair, and Alistair nearly nicks him coming through Luffield. So he became the attacker to the one being attacked. He just has to keep it clean right now because the championship here is on the line.
Well, Alistair Young in P4. He's always good for a highlight reel, is Alistair. He'll give it a real go. He had a go there on Nakib Aslan, but the one I'm so impressed with, we have not seen Ben Seek being able to hold off the big guys before. Nasi went past him. Nakib may well just about breeze past him here. But Ben Seek is improving race after race after race.
Which is nice to see, to be honest, because you wouldn't want to be a back marker for so long. You want to actually fight it out with the big boys up in the front. And he's doing himself proud here right now to be holding off one of the championship contenders. Yes, granted, he actually got nicked by Miko Nasi towards the end of the lap. But he wouldn't cover himself too much shame because he's done an absolutely brilliant job up to this point.
Absolutely has. There's no Super Mario mask. Maybe that is the difference. But Nakib is being able to now just close in. Nakib moves into P2. Ben Seek drops down into P3. Alistair Young will be the next one for him to worry about. But Nasi leads Nakib Aslan in P2. Game is on. Both on hard compound tyres. How about the rest of the pack? Inigo Anton has dropped down. He's now in P5. Troy Iman, another good race for him in 6. And how about Hakimi? Hakimi has just lost her place there to Yevon David in P8. Tadashi 9, Kalen Chin 10. Tadashi is having a move on the outside, and Tadashi has got himself into P8 ahead of Mika Hakimi.
Now, he was right up at the front at one point, and I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he just ran wide on the corners. Yeah, he did run wide at the arena section, but I didn't know he could actually drop back this far behind. So he hasn't had a good second race so far.
There is the fronter, the look of the very, very low down of Ayman Hakim Tadashi. One race number 1. Mika Hakimi is behind him in P9. Yevon David is ahead of him in P7. He didn't really look at the Sri Lankan. He had a torrid time in race number 1. In fact, he finished way, way down. But here he's got himself up into P7 and looking half decent.
And in fact, I think he was actually right at the back. He was in 22nd. So right out of our sights, he made an absolutely blind over start to be up to 7. He made up 14 positions at the start. So brilliant drive so far. And now he's actually coming up to the tail of Inigo Anton. Top 6 on the cards here.
Yevon David in P7, and that is Inigo Anton. The Filipino just does the little bit of a blocking maneuver, but Anton has pressure from Yevon David and Ayman Hakim. Inigo Anton was at one stage in P3. The young Filipino looks a little bit tense, a little bit upright, stiff in the shoulders as he just holds off the challenge, but he's closing in on Troy Ayman and Alistair Young at the same time, and Ben Seek is in that little group as well. Good battle is for P3.
Yeah, I think Ben Seek might have deployed the banana peel or blue shell or whatever, to refer to his Mario persona, the Mario Kart things. He has been holding off Alistair Young for quite a while now. They might be actually getting a bit restless right behind him.
Yevon David makes another move on the back of Inigo Anton. Up at the front, I can tell you, Nasi and Nakib are still there. So Anton is really, really under pressure from Yevon David. Yevon in the green Stratos car goes past the Filipino and moves up into the top 6. Next up, we have Alistair Young. He is trying to get on the back of Troy Ayman. So many overtaking maneuvers, and you look top of your screen, we've still got best part of 24 minutes to race.
And actually, because Ayman made a move on Alistair Young, so Alistair now actually has awesome position. In fact, I don't know if that was lag or if his car was looking crabby. It's looking very crabby right now. He might have had suspension failure somewhere. The car doesn't look good right now. He has actually dropped behind Troy Ayman, and he's losing touch to Ben Seek. So something might have happened in between while we're not looking at him, and his car is not looking pretty good.
2 young Malaysians going wheel to wheel. However, up at the front, I can tell you that Naki Baslan has closed in dramatically on the back of Miko Nasi. And this, even this early in the race, is going to be the one to watch. Naki Baslan, the championship leader, but had a bit of a problem in race number 1. Miko Nasi had a disaster in race number 1. Cannot afford to drop too many points. But here they are, battling through 11, 12, and Maggots and Beckett's over on the far side. Looks beautiful as Nakib is just preparing to make the maneuver.
Yeah, this is a clash of the titans here, first and second, and Nakib's not actually, Nasi didn't even put up much of a fight. I think he knows that so far right now, he doesn't have the need to push too hard because this is why early in the stages of the race, they haven't had a pit stop yet, so why fight too hard and scrub the tires away when you can just stay behind and get the slipstream and indeed DRS to save a bit of fuel too.
There's the first overtaking maneuver. Let's move back into P3 where Ben Seek is still holding up the traffic. He's got Alistair who's back up into P4 ahead of Yevon David, and Troy Ayman has dropped down, but Ben Seek is doing Brunei proud.
Yeah, man, the Brunei flags are flying in the comment section. In fact, one of our commenters, JCJ, thank you for commenting. He's flying the Brunei flag high, and I hope he flies even higher if he gets onto the rostrum, which he is on right now, but he has to defend tooth and nail for the next 22 minutes it remains.
And that is a long, long way to go. Alistair Young is right on his tail. Yevon is making a move there on Alistair, and Yevon David pushes Alistair Young out of the way, and Yevon moves into P4 as we focus on Ben Seek. That's Troy Ayman. Troy Ayman is the one who's got Alistair in his sights once again. Alistair is great fun to watch, isn't he? Look at the way he's looking to prepare to make the attacking maneuver on Yevon David. He doesn't like being overtaken, Alistair.
Nope, and if anything, he's either up or down. He's just yo-yoing around between the 4th and 5th positions right now, fighting with his fellow Stratos members because they're part of the same organization, or at least as far as I know, they work with the same organization, which is Stratos. Now then, fifth place right now, and that car looks a bit more severe than I thought, because you can see that he's going a bit more to the left. I think he has severe suspension failure, but the car is actually holding out quite well. So we have to keep an eye out for him if that car is going to continue being like that for the rest of the race.
Let's go down as Nakib is still leading a little bit further down. Inigo Anton is under pressure from Arif Azmi. Arif in the lime green as the first pit stop is made. Arif goes past Inigo Anton, who is really struggling. Inigo, in fact, he's not even the top Filipino today. That goes to Francis Angelo Gonzalez, although Gonzalez on the medium compound has gone into the pits. So Gonzalez is the first into the pits. Perwin also into the pits, and they are the first men to go then.
I think because they were starting on the medium tires, they were actually going up into that range where it's about 10 minutes in and they're going to have to pit. In fact, I was told earlier just now by one of the viewers for this race, for this championship, he said that by the 50-minute mark, it's about 40% for the hard tires. So the hard tires can still go on at least up until the 20-minute mark. So after that, it might be just soft tires.
A little bit further down, we haven't really mentioned the guys who are here for the experience, the likes of Whelan Choi, looking to improve race on race, and Leona Chin as well, as Leona just loses to Mohamed Zini, who's the young Singaporean who's made a bit of an impact in ERacing GP, and Leona does a drifting for us. Wrong source, Leona. And looks good, but not here, please.
I think the car is actually quite terminal because the car is actually going quite slow right now. It could be a puncture because look at that. She's being overtaken now by Kaylin Chin, actually, surprising enough. No, that was Josh. So, wow, both World Racing cars are actually well behind here.
Yeah, they are indeed. They are struggling a little bit as we stay on board with Leona. You can just tell there's a little bit of tension in the eyes there as well, and the shoulders are hunched. She's not a happy young lady.
No, she ain't. And the way that this car is, even in his body language, it just doesn't look good. But having said that, she's picked up the pace again. But unfortunately, no points for her in this race. It's just going to be trundling around at least back to the pits for new sets of tires, and indeed maybe fixing whatever damage that she has.
Back to P3. Yevon David has got past Ben Seek. Seek's resistance is ended by Yevon David. And now he's under pressure from Troy Iman and Alistair Young, because Troy's got ahead of Alistair, whose yo-yo race continues. But just look at that. You can clearly see the Ben Seek was holding up the traffic. And Yevon David, now he's got past him. He's trying to make up a 5-second differential on the front two. But Miko Nasi is 3 seconds down on Nakib. Nakib is going really well, as is Yevon David. Talk to me about setups and the difference it can make at Silverstone.
A lot. In fact, there's no need to compromise too much for the setup, unlike you say Monza, where you have to go full flat out. Here, you can actually have a car that be not so fast and straight, but you can have it through the corners. So it's not much of a compromise. It's just that you need to have to find the right balance between going too fast and going too slow. So right now, at least, Nakib in the Stratos car has found a very good sweet spot between going fast and indeed handling well around the corners.
Miko Nasi, I tell you what, Nakib Aslan is not always just in shot there as they go round the right-hander. Miko, he's had a tough old day today, but if he picks up 20 points here to add to the... Oh, what did he get? His worst round so far for Miko Nasi is a 13-point round. So he's got that to throw away, but you don't want another teen round, do you? Nakib's worst round is 33 points.
Yep, and that's a 20-point swing. That could easily be the championship setter right there if Nakib actually doesn't have another bad round. And in fact, that particular race, the first race just now, where he had to pit in the short sprint race, didn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things. It could still be a big points haul by the end of this race, by the end of this round, going into Bathurst for the final round. Sorry, going to Road America next.
Certainly could be. I'm just looking at Alistair Young, and Alistair, you were mentioning that Alistair's having real problems. Well, he has ended up in the pits alongside Leona Chin and alongside Alvin Yak. Now for Alistair, is it a case of he has pitted? Yes, he has. He's gone in to change tyres. He was on the hard compound. Clearly, he's tried to fix all the damage as well as Leona. She's made her pit stop as well. So what are we? We are on the hard compound.
Oh. Drive-through penalty as well, just for
Alistair.
Yeah, for Alistair. Just that insult to injury.
Okay, there's Nakib. Where will Nakib decide that he has to make his pit stop? We're at near the halfway point now.
Okay, so I've been told by someone that, oh, that's Alistair spinning out of the way, but just to add a bit of context there, what we were cutting between two cameras. Nakib then, if he's on the hard tires right now, we're at a halfway mark, almost halfway mark. So 40% of the tires, that means he can actually still get away with a few laps, then come in, and then he might want to bolt on a set of mediums if he wants to play safe. If he wants to go for the fastest lap, go on the softs.
Okay, so Nakib Aslan at the moment 1:29.5 is the fastest lap, and that belongs to Nakib Aslan. There's been a 1:29.7 by Colin Lee, which is one heck of a lap from Colin. He was on the hard compound as well. Let's go and have a visit to Colin, see how he's doing. He's in P10 at the moment. Well, the mid-race guy, the Wolf Virtual Racing team, we don't often visit them because they're often in the mid-race, but Colin has incrementally improved week on week on week on week on week.
Indeed, and the fact that this round he's had a pretty good one so far. In the points in the first race, now well into the top 10 this second. It will help in the team's point standings for sure, because right now with Albin out of the way, sadly, because don't know what happened, we didn't view him. But yeah, this is doing good points for Wolf Virtual Racing.
And one of the guys who was fastest on the leaderboard, Francis Angelo Gonzalez. Again, we know him from Philippines. He's in P11 at the moment, but under pressure from Fadli Rahmat, one of my favorites from Indonesia. So Indonesia versus Philippines. Good ASEAN battle going on there with Joaquim Garrido a further 5 seconds behind. Let's just have a look at Fadli Rahmat and Francis Angelo and see if Fadli, who can be quick, fastest lap time though, 1:31.4, so he can be quicker than that.
Yeah, and mind you, they are carrying a bit of ballast, just to even things up a bit, because they are entering the championship quite late. So we don't want to have them at least screw over the championship fight in front, as Fadli goes onto the inside of Angelo Gonzalez Frusto. Lovely move, and he gets through. Nakib gets a penalty. Is that
move? Yes.
Nakib gets a drive-through penalty there.
Nakib Aslan, a drive-through penalty, although he's got a 5-second lead over Miko Nasi. Have they made their pit stops? Yeah, they must have done.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have got his drive-through penalty without it, would he? Tadashi is 4 seconds down on these two, but that, well, it won't be significant, will it? Because he can probably just slow down on one of the corners and just buy that time back.
Yep. Actually, no, it's not the corner cutting penalty.
It's a drive-through.
It's a drive-through.
Drive-through.
So he has to come in within the 3 laps that he has to serve it, and then shuffle it back up through the field. Now, it's a bit of a loss here, about a 30-second net loss, delta. So he might drop in between Colin Lee and Arif Azmi, or he could drop further behind than that if his drive-through penalty takes much longer. So this is swinging into the favor of Miko Nasi.
So tyre selection issue on race number 1. A silly penalty in race number 2 for championship leader Nakib Aslan. He still has one race weekend that he can throw away, but it might not be this one. His worst weekend was 33 points. If he wins here, it'll be a good performance. So this won't be the one to throw away. So we can afford to make these mistakes, but even so, it just nabs away at the confidence.
Yeah, indeed. And the fact that out of all the circuits to have the bad luck right now, it had to be Silverstone, because he had that ignominy of losing the championship at the final corner to his own brother, to lose it by 2 points to Dylan Tani ERGP. Now he's had the same bad luck here in Silverstone. What's the man got to do to get a good result at the circuit?
Let's have a look at Miko Nasi. 7 seconds adrift now, Miko Nasi. And Miko will find himself under pressure, you feel, from Ayman Hakim Tadashi. Tadashi just 3 seconds adrift, all on the hard compounds. Only Josh Perwin has gone for a double medium compound strategy. Everybody else has gone either hard or medium hard.
Indeed, and well, Josh, because this is his first time driving in this championship at least, he'll probably get to grips with it by the next one. And the next one is a circuit that everyone's been to in ERGP at least, which is Road America. So that will be one to watch, because that place has a lot of high-speed corners and probably not much in terms of tie wear. It just goes flat all the way.
Good little battle going on in the middle of the pack. We'll just break into it for a moment. Inigo Anton, Fadli Rahmat and Francis Angelo Gonzalez, the 2 Filipinos with the Indonesian in the sandwich. Inigo in P10. Francis Angelo Gonzalez makes a move on Fadli Rahmat. As we'll get back on Inigo, who's just leading that and edging away from those 3. Francis Angelo Gonzalez can be quick. There's some good drivers out in the Philippines.
Indeed, and such a shame that we haven't had more Filipino drivers in right now because they got such a strong support, especially on the online side of things. So hopefully there'll be more drivers taking up once we get Season 1 proper underway after this.
And again, let's just go on to one of the guys who we focused on earlier on, Ben Seek, who was on pole position, did really, really well to hold on against the big boys, but he's dropping down quite considerably now. He's down into P8 after his pit stop, Ben Seek, but nonetheless, I think he's on course for his best finish of the season because Arif Azmi is 7.5 seconds adrift. And we're approaching the final 10 minutes, the final third of this race. So Ben Seek again doing Brunei proud, as is Colin Lee doing the Wolf VR team. Absolutely proud. Top 7 for him. And he's not too far behind Mika Hakimi, maybe 5 seconds behind him. So Colin and Alvin Yak of the team. Alvin is out of the race. Colin looking good.
Indeed. And top 6 finish also. This will be also his best finish of the season. So we can throw the phone book out the window for this one. Some drivers getting really good results for the first time in this season, and the prime example here is Colin Lee and Ben Seek. In fact, one driver dropped out just now. I don't know who, because Ben was actually in 8th. Now he's up to 7th. Who do we lose? Oh, we lost Alistair, I think.
Alistair's down in 18th.
Yeah, sorry, Alistair was already behind. I mean,
even Fantagiato, he's having, I think, connectivity problems. Ivan. Right then, how about this? Up at the front, Nakib Aslan has gone into the drive-through. He's taken his penalty, and it means that he has lost his place in P2 to Ayman Hakim and is under pressure from Troy Ayman. Troy Ayman putting pressure on Mika Hakimi. Nakib Aslan, well, he's made his drive-through penalty. It's cost him a place.
Yep, in fact, it cost him the lead of the race, to be honest.
Yep.
So, not much of a loss. In fact, he's actually lucky to get away with not having much of a severity in terms of the championship fight, but he would have wished he would not have that penalty just now. He wants to actually pull that gap away from Miko. Now Miko's ahead of him by 5 seconds with only about 9 minutes left to go.
Right though, but Miko, up at the front, is under pressure. Miko has got Ayman Hakim Tadashi chasing a win double. These are the front two. Tadashi, let's look forward from Ayman Hakim. And look at that, he has got Miko Nasi in his sights, and Miko has got a back marker just to negotiate ahead of him. Alistair.
Yep. It's Alistair, and there we go. Alistair gives way, cleanly, serenely, not too much histrionics. But will he actually block Ayman Hakim? We've had a talk earlier in the drivers briefing about team tactics. Nope, Alistair actually just gets out of the way cleanly as well. So no messing about there. The drivers who are leading this race are going to go head-to-head in the final 8 minutes we have remaining.
Alistair would have got a clip round his ear from his dad if he hadn't got out the way. I'm sure about that one. Miko Nasi has the lead, but Tadashi is closing. And Miko Nasi, well, it's been an interesting weekend for him at Silverstone. He's got experience, but Tadashi has got that little glint in his eye, bottom left of your screen. You can tell how he's feeling, Hakim. That little touch on the side of the head. Yep, I'm feeling confident, boys. I want to win double here.
Wiping a bit of sweat, I guess, because I don't think he races with air conditioning on, because he just wants to have that feeling of being in the car, being with high adrenaline to really push it. So he loves to simulate the real world in virtual world, at least.
7.5 minutes to race. It is half a second between Ayman Hakim and Miko Nasi. DRS will come into the equation now, and it could be, is this one of the races where Miko might allow Hakim to take the lead just so he can utilize DRS later on in the circuit?
Well, if it's a track like Spa, for example, you could actually try and get away with that because you got plenty of straights. At Silverstone, you're going to have to make your moves count because you only have one really long straight. Yes, sorry, 2 straights. The Wellington straight and the Hanger straight. But you wouldn't want to risk a maneuver and that wipe you both out. So I think Miko will try to hold his ground here and try to keep Ayman behind by a hell or leather.
Tadashi is lapping 7/10 of a second quicker on the last lap. Tadashi has also got the fastest lap of the race at 1:28.5. So he won race number 1, Ayman Hakim, bottom left of your screen. He's second here in race 2 with the fastest lap, but he is closing right on the tail there of Miko Nasi. But Miko's a wily old customer and will defend. Will he?
Well,
no, he won't.
Oh, he will defend late because he is the last of the late breakers. He is a daredevil on the brakes, and he's proven right there to actually keep Ayman at bay. But he won't be keeping Ayman for long because he knows full well Ayman has DRS and he doesn't. So this could be interesting here, whether or not Ayman can get through quickly and try to pull a gap on Miko Nasi, or Miko can stay behind him towards the final 6 minutes of this race.
6 minutes to go. Amo Hazik with the analysis of what goes on in E-Championship. We're in round 6 of an 8-round season. We've got the histrionics of a double point scoring round 8 to really put the cat amongst the pigeons. But what's happening here is Ayman Hakim and Miko Nasi are doing their best to make sure they are in contention going into round 8. Round 7 coming next week. Round 8 in 2 weeks' time. It's building up to a superb climax in season 0 of ERacing GP. Decent climax here as well.
Yes, indeed. And this is going to be a barnstorming finish here. Silverstone has seen many great races over the years, and this is one of them. And it's not even real; it's in the virtual world, and it's a darn good one. We had a great first race. We're going to have a really good end to this one. But will Nasi hold on tight here as he goes to the inside? Hakim tries to go to the inside of Nasi. Nasi holds firm, and the front wing of Ayman Hakim touches the rear left wheel of Miko Nasi. Did he get away with it? Just about. Normally that would cause a puncture.
Well, so Tadashi this time goes on the inside as Miko Nasi is defending for all he is worth. Looks pretty cool. Bottom right of the screen. Great scrap this for P1. The good news for Nakib Aslan behind. While these two are scrapping, he can maybe just make up a little bit of a ground. And he's got to within 5 seconds, although that's a lot to make up in just 4 minutes.
Yeah, and here they have to squabble even more so than that for Nakib to actually has stand a chance of closing out right behind him. Because right now, well, actually he's fluctuating because we saw it was 5 seconds earlier. Now it's 6.6. Something might have happened to Nakib along the way.
You're quite right. We'll very, very quickly break away from this battle for P1. I won't disappear. Well, no, I won't disappear at all because, again, we're getting into that part of the course as Ayman Hakim Tadashi is looking for a win double. Right, very quickly, P3, Nakib Aslan. He's got a lot of space ahead of Mika Hakimi, who is in P4, and Troy Ayman in P5. And they are way ahead of Arif Azmi in 6 as Ben Seek goes down, back to the front. Nasi under pressure once again. Is that Siku there coming? No, it's not Seek, is it? It's Chen Lu, who they are coming onto the tail end of there. But hey, Tadashi has got the bit between his teeth, Amo, has he?
Yeah, indeed. And the fact that he also holds the fastest lap of the race right now. He wants to have that double. He wants to be only the second driver to achieve a double this year. And he goes around the outside here with DRS at Brooklands. Does he make it stick? No, he doesn't. Nasi shuts the door, but Ayman holds firm. He goes around the outside, and he takes the lead here from Luffield. Brilliant piece of driving from both drivers. But it's Ayman Hakim who takes the lead here in the second race, and he's well on his way to actually claim the double at Silverstone.
Lap 18 with 3 minutes to go. It's a significant moment, but Miko Nasi has responded, and DRS, if he is within a second as they can implement DRS, he may be able to utilize that. But Tadashi is trying to dash away from Miko Nasi. Great battle between the Malaysian and the Finn, and the gap differential. Now Tadashi's got the lead, is over half a second.
And I don't think he had DRS that time. No, he doesn't. In fact, it was Hakim Tadashi who actually has the DRS. So he's pulled a bit of a gap. But conversely, by the next lap, when they cross the line, it'll be Nasi who has the DRS, and it will play back into the Finn's hands. This race is now over, not by a long shot. 2.5 minutes to go. Anything can still happen.
Their gap is only half a second. The back marker, you can see, is not involved in this race. It's difficult to move away from this. Nakib 3rd, Hakimi 4th, Ayman 5th, Aris 6th, Inigo Anton, Colin Liu, Joaquim Garrido, Kalen Ching complete the top 10. But we will stick with this to see if Miko Nasi is able to get back. If the gap is just increasing, though. He's not been able to get close enough as Josh gets a drive-through penalty. Nasi has got to stay close, Amo.
Yep, and in fact, he's running out of opportunities. If Ayman could pull a 1 second gap, that's it, game over. Unless he could try to close that out within the final 2 minutes we have remained. Hakim is well on his way to claiming double because that 1 second is enough for you to get DRS. As that's a back marker, nearly ramming into the side of Nasi. That would have actually distracted Ayman a bit, and look at that. Visually, you can see the gap is closing again. Nasi has got the fight back on his hands.
1.5 laps to go. They will complete this lap. Will they actually have another lap after that? Where are we? Yeah, there'll be, so 2.5 laps to go, we reckon. So Miko has got plenty of time, in inverted commas, but not enough time to make those mistakes. And he's 8/10 down, 9/10 down. Oh, that could be the mistake that costs him. That could be the mistake that hands the win double to Ayman Hakim.
And I think he's gotten a slow puncture as well, because look at that, 1.4 seconds across the line. Something might have happened to Nassi's car when we saw him going through Stowe. That might have been the cause of why he went so wide there, luckily to hold on. Now he's gonna have to concede this. Hakim has got this in the bag. He will become the second driver to get a double this season.
Well, you can look at the facial expression of Miko Nassi. He knows that he has got big problems. The gap is 1.6 seconds, but what this does, we'll keep an eye on Ayman Hakim. There's 20 seconds of race time to go. He has now pulled 1.5 seconds and looks relatively comfortable. Does Tadashi win double, so long as he doesn't do anything silly? However, Nakib Aslan comes back into the equation if it is indeed a puncture for Miko Nassi.
Okay, so right now, 1.8 seconds, no distractions right up in front. Because I think just now that car was Zini, if I'm not mistaken, who actually went off the racetrack at Cops, nearly ramming to the side of Ayman. So he got away with that. Then he dodged another bullet when Nassi had to suffer the problem. So the win is well and truly his right now, if he could survive the final couple of corners.
And Nassi is just being able to hold on to that 5 seconds. Maybe it's not a puncture for Miko Nassi because Nakib has not been able to make up any ground. But this is almost a victory lap here for Ayman Hakim Tadashi. Look at that, the big smile. He's got the maximum points. He's also got the bonus of 2 points for the fastest lap. Miko Nassi in P2, Nakib 3, Mika Hakimi 4. Nassi looks distraught and Tadashi looks delighted.
Yeah, and will he do another donut? Come on, Ayman, you know you want to do another set of donuts. Come on, go out to the outside. No, he's not doing it this time. But look at the stark contrast between the two faces. One is elated, the other one is just a bit indifferent. Yeah, you can see a bit of a smile now from Nassi, but wow, contrast of emotions there. The race and the championship would have been right there right now. We're going to see a three-way battle towards the end of the season.
Okay, let's head over to Alex Young and let's see what reactions he can get from the participants.
Okay, Ayman Hakim, I hope you're with us right now. And more donuts. This is your first double win of the season. Wow. More donuts, please.
Yeah, boys, I go for the viewers in the house. Enjoy the donuts, enjoy the show.
Yeah, so yeah, really difficult first few laps. Didn't really make the positions on the first few laps, but were able to still get up into the lead.
Yeah, I actually had a collision at the beginning. I know someone lost their car through Abbey, and I was like, I was scared that I have the damage on the car, so I had to take it a little bit cautious. But afterwards, managed to pass some of these guys, and great. Shout out to Miko Nassi. That was a good battle between us. That's a clean one. And to the guys at my home who supported me, thank you so much. You guys are the best.
Well done. Okay, and now obviously that's going to be really good for your championship. You now close down the gap between the first two, so maybe you can make it a three-way fight for the championship win with only 2 more rounds to go.
Inshallah, maybe, hopefully.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ayman Hakim. I'll get you back to the commentary team of Des and Amir.
Ayman Hakim Tadashi with the victory. Miko Nassi looked frustrated with his second place. Look at that, the fastest lap. I do apologize. Alistair Young picking up the fastest lap. Didn't look far enough down the leaderboard, did I? So Tadashi doesn't get the 2 points bonus. Naki Baslan a 4th and a 3rd, so this isn't his throwaway round. In fact, this will help him increase his lead at the top. But Hakim will now make it a 3-way battle for the championship. Hakimi and Troy Ayman once again high finishes, as was Yevon David. Great weekend for Arif Azmi, a 3rd and a 7th. Inigo Anton, always consistent. Colin Lee, regularly in the top 10. Joaquim Garrido, Kalen Chin, a podium followed by a P11. Ben Seek doing well to finish P12. Great improvement from the Brunei-based Kiwi. Fadli Rakhmat and Zini, welcome aboard to both of those guys. And to Lou, good points for him, right the way down to 15. Amo Hazik, first time in the commentary box, certainly in the E1 Championship. And you seem to have brought a touch of luck to your countryman, Ayman Akim Tadashi.
No, he can thank me for that. He could probably, if he wins the prize money, he could give a bit some to me. No, just kidding. Yeah, it's all his. But yeah, great to see that Ayman's actually performing so well here in the closing stages of the season. He's had a bit of an indifferent round. Yes, granted, he got a win in Sepang, and then he got the bad luck of running on low fuel in Dubai. But he's actually thrown the bad luck out of the way and gotten good towards the end of the season. So right now he's the thick of the championship fight. I think Hakimi had a very bad round this one. So not say bad, but it's just a bit not good compared to the other three drivers in the championship. So it might just be a three-way battle towards the end of the season.
We'll have all the analysis in just a while. Great job, Amo, on debut. We'll see you again next week. Back now to Dan Woodruff and Alex Young.
Thank you very much, Des and Amir. Great to see that in race 2. The opposite of a commentator's curse. We always talk about the commentator's curse when we talk about a team doing well and wishing them well, and then just disaster strikes them. We've spoken about wishing well to RSG today, and they've just pulled it out of the bag. Ayman Akim, I mean, 2 wins in a row.
I mean, we knew he had the pace. We saw from the test race yesterday that he had really good traction, so the car was good, and Ayman did drive very, very well. The only incident he had was at the beginning of the race. He had that small clash with someone in the opening lap, which made him not progress as well as he normally did. But he kept cool, didn't he? He kept cool, so he showed another side of his racing, not just speed, but racecraft to get in and get the win.
Well, we've got even more analysis coming right your way right after this break. Hello and welcome back, guys. We've just wrapped up race 2 here at round 6 of the E1 Championship. We're racing at the Silverstone circuit all the way in the UK. Action-packed as always. In race 2, we saw what I think was one of the most commanding leads in the opening portions of a race, with Nakib Aslan pulling a country mile from the rest of his competitors. And he got a strategy right after that strategy mistake in race 1, but it's just heartbreak again for the Stratos drivers. He got a drive-through penalty, and then his teammate as well, Yevan David, actually had his system crash. So we're probably going to have a chat with them after this to get their insights and to see what they're feeling. But first, let's have a chat with Miko, Alex.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, Miko Nasi, we have to chat to him. Miko Nasi, you started like you had a really difficult day today, struggling a little bit with pace, not quite putting it together in race 1. But I thought that was a really great recovery drive, race 2.
Yeah, that was fun. It was basically just a lack of preparation, and that showed in driving and setup work. So made some last minute changes for race 2 on the setup, and they worked a bit better. Yeah, well, we're loving the bandana, by the way. But that is the part and parcel of motor racing. Sometimes it goes up, goes down. I'm sure you'll regroup for the next race. The next race, obviously, being at Road America. Do you like that track? Yeah. I couldn't find my full focus racing hat, so bandana it is. But yeah, Road America is one of my favorite American tracks, I guess. Laguna Seca, Road America. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to that, and hopefully we can put a little bit more setup preparation in there. Congrats to Ayman and the team, RSG. They did a really good job and prep, and Ayman drove amazing. Yeah, it looked. I mean, you had a good look at the back of the RSG car. Looks like they've made those gains again. You know how strong they were at Shanghai. Where was the car stronger than yours? They clearly had more downforce, and they made it work. So I only really started setup work today, and we tried a high downforce setup, but we still couldn't make the car work in the slow corners well enough. So they've clearly done a better job than we did. Okay, well, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks. Guys.
All right, and up next, let's go speak to the Stratos Motorsports driver of Nakib Aslan.
Okay.
Well, Nakib, tough race. You look like you had the race in the bag. What happened with the drive-through?
Yeah, I think you can tell pretty bummed out. I think we had a drive-through through speeding, I'm looking at the replays. I've been watching it several times. I don't see me speeding. It must have been really millimeters difference. But yeah.
You think you just didn't quite get the car slowed down for the white line on the pit lane entry?
It wasn't the entry. I think it was the exit. It might have been a bit too early, but it was really, you can't really tell from the video. It happens, but yeah.
On a more positive note, we were making comments earlier that your opening performances in these races were incredible, particularly in race 2, where you saw you carving your way up to 3rd place so quickly. Tell us a little bit about where that speed actually comes from.
Well, to be fair, in the race starts, especially in the reverse grids, you have to pick your moments. I think it's a difficult job to do, especially because you have to take risks at the same time, not be willy-nilly and end your race on lap 1. It's a fine line, and I think we did it really nicely in that race. Sadly, it didn't come through to the end, but we'll work harder for the next round.
Well, I mean, and also let's not forget it's still a good recovery. I mean, you had to drive through and you had to do an additional pit stop in race 1. That could have really destroyed your whole race weekend. You still came away with a 4th and 3rd, and you have a healthy leading championship.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you say. It could have been worse, but I think looking at the potential we had, especially in the team, we worked really hard this week. But yeah, look forward to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of the coin, you could have easily come away with a double win as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's motorsports.
One final question. We've got Road to America as the next race. How are you feeling about that track?
Yeah, so recently did it in ERGP. I think it's a really interesting track. Not your usual Formula 1 type of track. So it's going to be interesting on how to set up the car there and getting the confidence in that track. So look forward to it.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you racing there.
Thank you.
Congratulations either way for your performances tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
All right, we've got time for one more interview. Let's speak to another Stratos driver, Arif Azmi, another fellow Malaysian who's put in his best performance of the E1 Championship so far.
Arif.
Yep.
How was that? That was a very, very strong performance in race 2. In race 1, I should say. Your a very strong podium finish.
Yeah. Worked really hard this week. The team and I, practiced a lot, and I think we really deserve this podium. It's been a long time. I've been waiting for a long time, and I think this weekend things worked out for me, so managed to secure the podium.
So how much of that was down to car setup as well?
I think a lot of it had the car. Felt great the whole race, even when tires were degrading a bit. Still felt really good. So I think setup played a huge part in that.
So this is a sort of result that hopefully will give you confidence to push on from there. Were there any tough points today that you thought, well, okay, this is getting a little bit tricky, but just managed to make it through?
Yeah, I had a bit of a moment in race 2 at the start. Went off track, went down to 17, but managed to come back to P6. So I think that's really a big confidence booster for the next round, the next 2 rounds. So yeah.
Awesome.
And last question, we have to ask all of the drivers we're interviewing here tonight. Your thoughts on Road America? Another very, very tricky circuit, slightly different in style from some of the tracks that we've been to earlier on in this season. How's your confidence level there?
Coming off of this weekend, the confidence is going to be really high, but it's a bit of a tricky track, that one with these cars, but a lot of quick corners, so I'm sure it's going to be really fun in these cars.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you back on track next week. Best of luck. See you then.
Thank you.
Wow, interesting, huh? Some good drives today.
Well, I mean, back to Stratos, they finally got that strategy down right. It was just bad luck, but it's so great to see that just the drivers can continue to pick themselves up. I mean, even on Miko, right? We call him the cool, calm Finn, and despite a lot of things not going right in his direction, he just manages to kind of keep his composure and keep his head down, and I think that's a really, really good sign of driver strength. So up next we have the highlights of race 1 and race 2 here at round 6. Let's go and check them out. Race 2, sorry.
Okay, well, race 2 had small coming together of two cars at the back there. Benjamin Seek did a great job off the line, led for quite a long time. Eventually, Mikko Nasi, though, was the first car to make his way through. And then Ben Seek did a good job. You know, he's holding off cars after cars in second position. Eventually, you had a few cars get through. And then there's just a move Aslan did on Mikko Nasi. And you just thought, okay, well, this is, you know, Nakib's got it in the bag at this point. Leona Chin had a small spin. But of course, Aslan had to do that drive-through penalty at the end. This is him leading by quite a big gap at this point. He's 4-second gap. Then had his pit stops. After that, though, here's a good battle between Fadli Rahmat and Gonzalez from Philippines. And here we got Nakib exiting the pit lane after serving his drive-through. Did a good recovery to get back out of third position, but yeah, he would have been so gutted. And then we were treated to this great battle between Mikko Nasi and Ayman Hakim. Ayman eventually going around the outside. Brooklyn's nice move. And just hanged around the outside, made sure he was on the inside for Lafayette. Whoa, Nasi going sideways there. A bit of drifting through that last corner. And, you know, tried to come back at him. Really made a good move to try and come back, but it wasn't enough. And Ayman Hakim went on to hold on to his second win of today.
And I love the donuts there at the end of the highlight reel. Let's go and take a look at the final results from race 2. There we go, Ayman Hakim once again at the top of the charts with 25 points in the bag. Mikko Nasi right behind him with 20 points in second. Nakib Aslan, rightly said, Alex. Sure, he's gutted. As happy as he would be to be on the podium, it could have been a double win for him. Mika Hakimi in P4, followed by 3 Stratos drivers, Troy Ayman, Yevan David, and Arif Azmi, followed by Inigo Anton, Colin Lee, and Joaquin Garrido in 10th. Now let's take a look at the overall results. In the Drivers' Championship standings, we've got Ayman Hakim with 51 points for the overall round 6 results. Nakib Aslan there with 36 points. A bit of a points delta between first and second. It'll be interesting to see how that impacts the final championship results, which will be coming later on in the show. Kalen Chin in P3, he's going to be ecstatic with that. He's been putting in a very, very strong performance tonight. Mikko Nasi in 4th, Arif Azmi, Mika Kimi, Joy Ayman, Inigo Anton in 8th, Alistair Jung in 9th, Yevan David in 10th, and Colin Lee in 11th. Further down the order, we have Benjamin Seek. Very, very strong performance at the start of that race too, holding his own up at the front for I1 Racing. Josh Perwin putting in a very strong debut performance in P13. Joaquin Garrido, Fadli Rahmat, Mohamed Zini, Lu Chern Yang, Alvin Yak, Leona Chin in 19th, Ivan Ventagliato in 20th, Whelan Choi and Francis Gonzalez in 22nd. So some exciting stuff. We're going to be reviewing the championship standings for both the drivers and the team results, coming to you right after break. Don't go away. See you soon.
I think what we did well as a team was really work together. We always had good preparation time.
Being able to produce a setup that would ultimately challenge others and be on the pace.
What we did the best in was our speed, our just raw pace, especially in the last round where we were able to snatch pole.
I think what we did well was working together and trying to get the best of what we can.
We consistently finish every race throughout the season.
My teammate and I's biggest improvement has been in our racecraft. We hadn't had a lot of experience with that before, so I feel like we learned a lot.
Any mistakes or moves that I've regretted in the 5 rounds would most probably be overly aggressive, pushing too hard on the tires.
I know I have made some, had time to think about them over the break. I think the mistakes will be gone by Silverstone.
One comes to mind, first round, race 1 on Mikko Nasi. It wasn't a smart move, but I had to go for the win, so there's no regrets on it.
Not practicing strategy, that is something I do regret because it has costed me, well, I don't know how many points, but had I worked, I would be higher up on the standings.
A few of them have been running out of petrol. For myself, the last race we did spun out in both races on the first lap.
There are some that I've regretted, like for example in round 2, I didn't realize that there was dirty air actually in these cars and I just don't drop the ball and actually spun. I actually spun twice also that round.
Imola getting the suspension damage, which cost me a lot, dropping out of the points. That was not the ideal thing to happen. And then in Shanghai, obviously, again, I was a bit too greedy with the reverse grid, going for unnecessary moves, getting too many incident points.
Looking back at it, yeah, I completely regret making those mistakes, and hopefully that I learned from it enough that I can do well the next round.
Welcome back to the E1 Championship, guys. We've just wrapped up our 2 races here at round 6 at Silverstone Circuit. If you guys have missed the races, don't forget you can also catch the live stream or a previous recording of the live stream on our Facebook page at the E1 Championship, or make sure to check out our Instagram and our Twitter pages as well with the handle at E1 Race. Now, going back to that driver profile piece just now, I want to put a spotlight, Alex, on one driver, and that's Benjamin Seek. He was saying that through the course of this season, his racecraft has improved, and I think Race 2 has perfectly illustrated that. We've seen him start on pole a few times, and I think in the earlier part of the season, we saw it get the better of him, and he immediately fell down the order. But Race 2 just now, I mean, he held P2 and P3 for plenty of laps, and it just shows that racecraft is about experience.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, you know, I completely new to the game. You know, when we started the championship at the very beginning, you could really see that, and it was nice to see him have that progress. And he actually had really good pace as well, because yes, okay, Mikko Nasi got by, but it took a while for Nakib. Then when Nakib got by, he was really holding everyone else, and he's stuck in third for a really long time. But then you can see the mistakes starting to creep in. So the pace is there, but maybe he just needs a bit more time with the cars, with the game, with the strategy to try and cut out those mistakes.
And that's all it is, right? It is practice, and the beauty of the E1 Championship is that it is racing for everyone. It's not like traditional motorsports where it's exclusive to people that can afford the track time. Everybody can practice day and night, and we're seeing them improve.
Like it says behind me, it is for everyone. Don't forget, there is that team in the team, which is the ERGP leaderboard team. Basically, if you can go set a time on RaceRoom at the E1 leaderboard, and if you're in the top 3 at the end of the week on Sunday night, you'll get invited to race with these guys, with these professional drivers. And that's exactly right. I love the fact that there's so much passion, and they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and you can see some great results out of drivers that normally would just never get the opportunity.
That's right, guys. So make sure you try out Racing on RaceRoom. We could see your name on our driver lineup in the next season. Now, looking back at these, last 6 rounds of racing here at the E1 Championship, racecraft again is a key word that comes to mind. And for people that aren't too familiar, Alex, what does racecraft mean? Because I want to dig in a little bit with some of the
Good
drivers.
point. So obviously there's driving, which is all about just setting the fastest lap time, getting used to the setup, and just trying to maximize that. But the racecraft is what you do when you're in battle. So it's, for example, if you're a World War II pilot, the driving is just flying around and making sure you can go up and down and land. But if you want to go into battle and you want to fight and shoot down the fellow, I won't say competitors, your enemies, that's what happens in racing. So how you do that, how you attack, how you defend, how you intimidate your opponent, and in the heat of battle, not make mistakes. That's all racecraft.
And that's why we constantly refer to Mikko Nasi as the calm, cool Finn. He can be in a tight, tricky, sticky spot, but you know that he'll always be consistent and be calm, cool, collected, and that's what the name of the game is about. It's not just about putting in fast lap times. Now, there's plenty more we can talk about with the drivers' racecraft, but first, I want to take a look at the championship standings so far, because it's becoming pretty interesting now as we get towards the end of this season. So here we have it, the Drivers' Championship standings so far. These are provisional, but Nakib Aslan, again, extending his lead ahead of Mikko Nasi, despite all of the challenges he's faced tonight here at Silverstone. Mikko Nasi there in second. Ayman Hakim and Mika Hakimi, the 2 RSG boys, sandwiched together in third and fourth. That's going to do a lot of wonders for the Team RSG Team Championship standings. And in fifth, we've got Scuderia Stratos with Troy Ayman, Inigo Anton in sixth, Kalen Chin in seventh, Yevan David in eighth, still maintaining his top 10 despite more technical issues. Hopefully those go away in the next 2 rounds. Alistair Young in ninth, and Colin Lee in 10th. And now let's look at the Team Championship standings. And now this is where we're seeing that switcheroo, Alex. You know, we were saying anything can happen This could change again in the next race, and in the last round where we've got double points, it's going to be even more important. We've got a 11-point lead by Team RSG ahead of Stratos Motorsports. Safe House there in third, a little bit more behind, and Scuderia Stratos in fourth, GT Radio Eurasia in fifth, Black Wolf Racing in sixth, Wolf Virtual Racing in seventh, ERacing GP in eighth, I1 Racing in ninth, and EGG rounding out the top 10 for the teams.
And okay, so it looks quite interesting, the drivers right now. It looks like there's a 50-point gap between the top two. But when you take in drop scores, because don't forget, drivers have to drop scores from the worst round between rounds 1 to 7, then it actually closes up. Actually, it's only, I think, 30 points gap between Miko Nasi and Nakib, and I think Ayman Nakib's just another 10 points further back from there, 10 or 20 points further back from there. So the top three are very close, and like you said, don't forget, we got the double points on offer for round 8, the last round, and I can't call it. It's going to be too close.
So setup's important, racecraft's important, but strategy is also important. Alex, when do you think in the season team managers and drivers will be thinking about that one round that they're going to be dropping? Will it only be at the very end?
No. I know RSG and Stratos, and I know Safe House like to say they don't practice, but I know they're already thinking about Bathurst, and they'll be starting to put in work. Perhaps they would have been doing it around Christmas, to be honest, just a little bit, but now they'll start to ramp it up because they can see how close everything is getting, and there's $15,000 of prize pool money available, so they have to put in the work if they want to win that money.
Yep, it's not a little bit, and we're excited to see who's going to walk away with that cash prize. We're super excited about that very last round, Bathurst circuit. It's beautiful, it's tight, it's a lot of accidents, accident prone for sure, and double points. But in the next round, we are going to go to Road America. We're starting our North American leg of this season. Alex, have you raced there before?
I've never raced for Road America, but I love it. It's like Spa. It looks so much fun to drive. Got a lot of fast-flowing corners, and you got these massive long straights. So there's always great racing there. I think we're going to have a humdinger of a race in Road America, and when we designed the calendar, this is the one race that I was really looking forward to.
And setup, of course, an important play. Strategy, I mean, with the tires, what kind of circuit are we looking at? Like long and flowy?
Yeah, so you're going to have to run minimum downforce because the straights are so long, like Spa. Silverstone is a bit more of a medium, high downforce sort of track, but Road America is not. And it's also a bit bumpy as well, so traction is going to be very key. And we know how good RSG are with traction, but they always run they always run quite a lot of downforce. We haven't seen their car be really good in low downforce trim. So hard to call again. I'm going to see a bit of ebb and flow.
Well, we know the driver is going to be putting in a lot of work in the next 7 days. Don't forget, we're going to be back here live Thursday night, 10 p.m. And if you guys have access to any racing simulator equipment at all, put in the hours, put in the work, because your name could be on the list the next time we race, and you could be racing with us and have your chance at a shot at winning that prize pool money. But until then, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media pages. From me, Alex, thank you very much. Thank you, Des and Amir. And we'll see you all next week. Take care.